Welcome to Hub City TV, a USM student news magazine production. We're your source to what's happening around the Pine Belt. I'm your host, Madeline Bordelon.
And I'm your other host, Katie Rowe. In this week's show, we are dedicated to helping you make healthier choices,
Educating you about autism,
and keeping you safe when doing laundry.
But first, after last year's church shooting in Charleston, North Carolina, many questioned the safety of their churches.
In March, Mississippi passed the Church Protection Act, allowing licensed members to carry a gun in church.
Reporter Julius Kizzy has the story.
Of the Church Protection Bill in Mississippi, authorized residents in the Pine Belt would not be able to take their concealed weapons into the church. With the passing of the Church Protection Bill in Mississippi, pastors can select who can have concealed weapons inside the church building. 40th Avenue Church pastor Tom Fuller favors the bill.
I'm comfortable with someone having that capacity as long as the rest of the church is aware of it.
HB 786 states that pastors may authorize members to carry firearms for the protection of the congregation of such church or place of worship. But to avoid gun fanatics, at some churches, those authorized will have to pass a screening test.
If you have a lot of cowboys carrying weapons around, you're going to get in trouble because they're going to do something dumb.
Dave McDonald agrees.
I would want armed people in the congregation who are level-headed, who think through what they do and have enough restraint that they can assess the situation very carefully and respond only if necessary.
Pastor Scott Hanbury sees no issue with the passing of the bill allowing weapons into his church.
I think our people value safety, and there is a sense of fear in this climate.
That climate of fear reached new heights with the shooting of unarmed church members in South Carolina last June.
Perpetrators, threats if you want to call them that, we're pretty sure they would not meet armed resistance.
This church's pastor would experience a burglary that would change his stance on the issue.
When we had our break-in here at the church, it deeply saddened me and a lot of our church members that, somebody would see this as a target.
Despite the break-in, Lawrence isn't 100% behind the law.
It makes me sad that it's become necessary or that it's come to this point.
Some Pine Belt members see this as another blessing. McDonald's hopes to avoid the violence.
If we don't learn from those things, then we are destined to just continue them.
For Hub City TV, I'm Julius Kizzy.
Another section of House Bill 786 also states that if a person shoots or kills an intruder while protecting his or her church or place of worship, it's considered a justifiable homicide.
And another place where safety is often tested is actually right in your own home.
Well, we've all heard the saying, cleaning never killed anyone, yet it can.
According to the National Fire Prevention Association, over 16,000 people reported house fires involving clothing dryers in 2010,
resulting in 51 deaths and $236 million in property damage.
In our next story, reporter Emerald Alexis Ware talks with professionals on how to prevent this tragedy in your home.
According to the National Fire Prevention Protection Association, clothes dryers and washing machines cause about 16,000 house fires yearly in America. Owner of Appliance Service Central LLC, Quincy Welch says prevention is key.
Keep your lint filter clean after every load because lint will build up and restrict airflow. And you would also want to keep your vent hose out the back unrestricted because it will clog up and cause problems and cause the lint to go to the inside of the dryer.
For some Pine Belt residents, cleaning the filter isn't a priority.
Oh my gosh, honestly, I never clean it.
I clean the lint filter out every little while when it gets full or whatever, and it's on an outside facing wall, so it just kind of blows out.
Newer homes include washers and dryers in more central areas, which means the ducts run under the house instead of directly out, potentially causing more lint blockage.
You can't keep lint from getting inside your dryer. It's just impossible. Your lint trap's not going to catch all the lint, therefore the vent duct and all where it runs out of the house is going to clog up eventually and restrict airflow. So you need to have your vents cleaned and checked at least annually once a year.
Knowing the dangers encourages residents to change.
Sounds like I should be cleaning it on a regular basis.
But I think I'll probably just be more aware of checking it every time.
Reporting for Hub City TV, I'm Emerald Alexis Ware.
The federal government recently made changes regarding SNAP benefits for those between 18 and 49.
The changes regard who's eligible for food stamps.
Hub City TV's Jessica Hayes has the story.
Mississippi Department of Human Services cracked down on who will continue SNAP benefits. The policy enforces able bodies ages 18 to 49 to work or volunteer for at least 20 hours a week. During a phone interview with MDH's Public Information Officer, Nelson says this is not a new policy, but now a reinforced policy. This policy continues to affect SNAP recipients of all ages.
As I transition to grad school, it requires you to work, at least 20 hours, and with grad school being so hectic, I'm not able to work that many hours. So now I honestly don't know what I'm going to do for food.
Although new changes to SNAP may hinder recipients, local volunteer service welcome participants.
After having to do this program, might see differently, like I can work 20 hours a week, I can go get this job, I am valued, I am appreciated.
Many SNAP beneficiaries may not like the new change, but that doesn't mean all will have the same viewpoint.
I do feel that it is a great idea for the welfare system to offer them on the job or job training services so that they are able to find employment, not just to cut them off of the benefits or for them to be able to receive.
If you don't work 20 hours a week, you won't be able to use this to get this.
Another group in the Pine Belt in need of assistance is our homeless population.
Absolutely. Right around the corners of the most beautiful historical district is a not-so-pretty picture.
According to nationalhomeless.org, Mississippi ranks 46 in America for homelessness.
But 46 out of 50 isn't that bad, right?
Well, you may be right, but regardless of the ranking, we do have people in need right here in Hattiesburg.
Reporter Quincy Hayward has the story.
The best part about working with homeless people is watching a transformation.
Once an area of prestige, College Street is now filled with abandoned homes and schools. But toward the end, a ray of hope. Behind it all,
Kathy Garner. I'm the Executive Director of the AIDS Services Coalition.
With 9% of the state's population homeless, according to nationalhomeless.org, Garner and her team band together to restore their community.
For the homeless population, that first step is a very tall one for many people. And so what I would say is take the step, because our staff is here to help you make that step.
Wishing to remain anonymous, a woman shares her story of overcoming homelessness.
I was laying in bed, and I was in bed with a man, and I was pretty high. And I was just, for the first time in a long time, I cried out, and I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm in a recovery center for women, and I came from the penitentiary. So I'm actually in my 6 months of, being 100 days, 80 days sober. I'm doing phenomenal,
When we come back, our next stories may keep you away from your cell phones.
And we raise awareness for a growing disorder.